Hey, assalamu alaikum everyone. Today I am going to be talking about why the price of things are going up, and the reason for that is what is known as inflation. And I'm going to be talking about what we can do about that and why investing is so important. So for those that are new here, I would like to welcome you to Simple Muslim Money, which is a podcast show all about simple halal investing and personal finance for Muslims. Now, this is just a quick disclaimer. This is not investment advice. I'm not allowed to give you investment advice. Everything here is just from my own personal opinions. And it's just for kind of informational purposes. And I hope, you can maybe learn something from this, but it is not advice. So glad I got that disclaimer out the way. And so first of all, I want to talk about why are we even bothering about investing. This is something probably Muslims, I feel like we need to talk a lot more about, how to invest and why it's so important, especially from a young age. Now, one of the key reasons for that is because the price of things are going up, and this is very relevant at the moment. And the reason is there's things going on around the world. Like we've had the COVID outbreak recently, so we're in 2023 now. I'm filming this, and also there's things like the wars going on around the world. Like at the moment, the Ukraine-Russia war, which has been going on for not that long, but also has been quite long as well. Good few months. That's been going on. So a lot of supplies and things like that have been affected, and also let's all pray that war and stuff like that can be sorted out, because a lot of people are affected by this, and let's hope and pray that something can happen around that. And so generally in terms of the impact on the financial markets, and what does that mean is that basically the price of things are going up. And what I'd like to really talk about is give some examples. Was when I was a kid, if I bought a can of a soft drink like Coca-Cola or something like that, it used to be about 30p, but now it's £1. So it just shows you the impact of inflation. Things just go up in price. Things cost more, and the suppliers, I guess, they feel like they can maybe charge more for things. So that's a very important thing to think about that. And it shows that just by having money in your account, it's kind of losing money, because it's not keeping up. You're thinking that you're saving up because a can of Coke costs 30p, but actually cans of Coke cost a lot more, and they the prices of things generally just kind of go up. And another example I want to talk about is petrol, or gas as they call it in the US and some other countries. It used to be about 80p or something, I remember when I was growing up, whereas now it's about £1.60. So it's pretty crazy, how it's pretty much sort of doubled in price. And it's been higher than that as well. So if you're driving a car and you're doing a lot of miles, I've recently looked into driving to France, which I actually didn't know. The Channel Tunnel, Eurostar, whatever it is, you can actually drive directly onto the train. The train will take you to France, and it only takes half an hour. So that's pretty amazing. That's something I'm looking into. But definitely driving, we've got kids at the moment, so the kids and stuff like that, it's just so much easier just to drive, or we always want to go somewhere nice or do something. So that is one of the things around having a car. The petrol and the costs of going places cost a lot more money. And then another one that's probably very famous in the UK, especially with a lot of Muslims, is chicken and chips. And I remember when I was younger, the kids, I didn't really eat it that much during my day when I was younger. I don't think it was as popular. I was more kind of a doner kebab kind of person. And we used to pay about 80p or something for a doner kebab. But I do remember chicken and chips being about £1 at one point, whereas now it's gone up to £4. It's kind of quadrupled in price. So I'm pretty sure that's the case. So just another good example of inflation that is happening. And the next thing I wanted to mention was property as well. So property is a really important one, a really good one to kind of think about. So the price of houses, so I've just got a little thing here. They used to be about 30,000 in the UK. Now they're about 500,000. That same house, or even more as well. So again, massive amount of inflation. And one thing I remember reading about or hearing in a podcast was that inflation varies as well. Inflation isn't just one figure that's kind of applied universally across everything. No, like house prices have gone up massively, but certain other things probably haven't gone up as fast. So yeah, it's definitely something to kind of be aware of. So inflation is something we definitely want to tackle. And also, yeah, when prices do go up with inflation, something, I've learned that, they never come down. Like the price of Coke or, any soft drink or whatever is still quite high. Like prices of, I don't know, whatever, McDonald's extra value meal is still gone up. It's going to stay up. I don't think it's ever going to come back down. That's the other thing that's quite worrying about this, is that, when you have like the prices of things go up, they don't generally come back down. Petrol is probably a bit of a weird case because, it's kind of pumped out of the ground from wherever it is, and yeah, that one sort of kind of fluctuates and stuff depending on various other things. But generally, like, cost of cars are going up, cost of housing, cost of everything is going up, and there is a real big cost of living kind of situation happening at the moment. I know it's spoken a lot about in the UK. So what can we do about this? What can we do in terms to protect ourselves from inflation? And really the things you'll hear most about is investing. And in particular, it's about investing in these companies. So these companies so for example, you're obviously we need to make sure they're halal companies, but let's say, for example, investing in a company like Amazon, Facebook, Google, they're selling things, and their cost of goods and their cost of sales will go up. So they'll be charging more. And because we will be investing in these companies and we own a part of these companies, we'll be kind of making money from our investments. So that's kind of a really interesting thing to kind of think about. So, we want to be investing because that's how we can kind of protect ourselves from inflation. Like if we just have money just sitting still in an account, it's not kind of really doing that. So, so that's one of the biggest lessons I have learned is that, I need to be investing my money. The biggest risk is kind of, even not doing anything with my money is still a risk. It's still people think it's risk-free keeping your money in your bank account. That is not the case at all. It's still a massive risk. So no action is still a form of action. It's just a form of action where you're kind of not really doing anything, and it could potentially it will affect the value of that money, and inflation and things like that are eating into that value. So it's really important to kind of learn about investing and learn about what to do with money. And that's something that I've kind of really kind of been trying to learn about probably throughout the years, but especially kind of more recently, like what can I do with my money? How can I invest my money? What do I need to be thinking about? So yeah, that's one of the things I've been talking about in today's episode. And if you've heard some of my other content, one thing I always talk about is Islamic index funds. They're really easy to set up. They're very diverse. They're the things that, a lot of people that have kind of retired early or that have been keeping investing really simple talk about index funds. And it was something I didn't realize as Muslims we would have access to, but there are index funds out there that are very good, that are kind of targeted towards Muslim investors and have performed really well. And this is something I kind of talk about. You can see some of my older episodes as well. It's something I would be talking about on the channel and we'll kind of continue to be talking about. And I'd like to say that's it for now. If you've enjoyed this video, please smash that like button as it really helps the channel. Assalamu alaikum.